Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Katharina Hartmuth. It's the day after the 2023 Trail World Championships 80K. Congratulations, Katharina, on your second place finish yesterday.
Thank you very much.
Walking to this interview, you didn't look tired or sore at all. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling quite good actually. So obviously I am a bit tired. Also got quite late yesterday because I had to wait for like doping control and everything. But I feel actually quite good, yeah.
This is I Run Far's first interview with you. I'd like to learn a little bit about you. You've been racing ultra marathons for a few years according to your results, but how did you find running and then ultra trail running?
Well, I think I always liked running.
Okay.
But usually I just did like shorter runs for fun. And then like a few years back I came to Switzerland and I always loved being in the mountains, and then I heard that there are these races where people run up the mountains actually, and I was intrigued at the first moment because I was like, oh, that's a bit crazy. And then I think in 2016 I did like a half marathon. It was a bit like half street or half road half marathon and half like on the mountain, and I quite liked it. But it was way too short for me. I wanted a longer race because it was over so soon, and then yeah, I got into the ultras because they're just longer.
According to your results, you've actually raced a couple times here in the Innsbruck area, so I think maybe you, I don't know, had some one up on the competition in knowing what the trail and the conditions would be like.
Well, I mean, I've raced here before, but on different trails. But I came here like 2 weeks ago to check at least the first part and the last part of the course, because back then it was not clear if you would run the original loop or now the alternative one, and I couldn't test like the middle part of the race because of all the snow. We had so much snow in May and in April. But yeah, I knew a little bit what would be there in terms of the track, so yeah.
We were talking a little bit before the interview. You're a climate science PhD student, very soon to defend your PhD thesis. Yeah. Could you tell me about what you do in academia?
Yes, so I studied, I came to Zurich in Switzerland to study there, earth sciences. And then I did my master's in atmospheric and climate science and then my PhD, and it's about Arctic climate change, so quite an important topic. And I quite like it because, I mean, as much as I love doing my sport, it's really important for me to have something else, something that where I can use my brain and don't need to use like the rest of the body. And yeah, I really like doing it. And now, yeah, I'm finished with my PhD, but I'm glad that I can continue to work in that area.
And we were talking before this interview, you really are defending your PhD thesis in a week and a half. So you're converting from this important experience to that very important experience.
Yes, I do. It was not planned like that. The defense came first. And then there was the invitation for the World Champs. And obviously I could not really say no. It's such an honor to race for a country. So yeah, now I try to juggle it. And obviously I didn't expect to come second here yesterday. So I didn't expect what would happen afterwards. I just thought, today I will go back to Switzerland and just travel home. And now I have a few things to do.
There are people like me bothering you.
Yeah, but it's an honor. I mean, I really like to do these things, and I try to soak it all up, even though it's still a bit unreal. Yeah.
Let's talk about that unreal experience yesterday. You seem to run with joy for most of the day. Is that sort of in character for you when you're in the mountains?
Yes, basically I have to. Okay. It was already at the beginning. I looked at the sky and I was like, oh, it's just such a beautiful day. I was just looking forward to spend all the day in the mountains, and I knew that the trails, I mean, they're perfect here. That it would be a perfect venue to race, and I was just looking forward so much, and with all these great athletes being there. And yeah, I just enjoy it so much, running in the mountains, if in a race or not. And I think also in tricky parts it helps me just to continue smiling. It's just like a mental thing. So yeah, it really helps. But it's really, most of the time it's real.
In terms of the women's competition, it seems like we say in English, you were in the mix with the competition pretty early on. Did you put yourself there intentionally? Were you running by feelings? How did that actually turn out?
Yeah, so it was definitely not intentionally, because when I took over the lead so early, I was like, I just thought it's not good. Yeah, because I don't like being in the lead. I mean, because when you are in the lead, you think, okay, now I have to stay in the lead. Otherwise, I fail somehow, or people now have expectations. So that was definitely not the goal. I tried to start quite easy, because I knew that there was so much climbing involved. So we took the first climb quite easy. I was in a group with other German runners, and we chatted, and it was just, we basically had a really good time after the first climb. That was really good start into the race. But then for me, always the goal is to race by feel. I mean, I try to race in the end if I still can, and if there's something to race for, but usually on these longer distances, it just is the best to race by feel. And I was feeling good, and then I ran with a few people from time to time, but sometimes I just had to leave them because they were a bit like too slow for my feel good pace. And so I think that was the way how I got to the top woman, basically. And it was then quite unexpected for me to be in front so early. It was definitely not my plan.
Yeah.
And it did not really feel good in the beginning to be in front.
How did, for the middle part of the race, when you were in the leadership position, I think you talked, as we were about to start this interview, that you did have high points and low points there. Mm-hmm. How did you manage yourself and then manage the competition once you found yourself in that spot?
Yeah, I think for me, usually it's really important to get in my fuel. So that's usually when I have my low points, that is usually then a problem, that I haven't eaten enough, or that I just struggle to eat because it's getting warmer or whatever. So I try to get that back on track, and just carry on. I mean, that's in the end, the good thing in ultras is it's always getting better at some point. So you just need to carry on and setting one foot in front of the other. And that's usually how I try to get over these bad moments. I mean, I have to admit that yesterday most of the race I felt good. It was basically this flatter part in the second half of the race where I really struggled. But I had races where there was much more struggle, so I'm quite happy actually that it was only that part of the race.
The race for the women's podium was tight all the way until the end. It just was within minutes. What was that, or I should say, was there pressure? And if there was, what was it like?
Well, the good thing is I didn't really feel pressure, because usually I also tell the people they shouldn't tell me. I mean, okay. I knew that I was in front, but they shouldn't tell me how far back the others are. I did expect that they would be close, because I mean, it's a world championship, so, and I knew who was on the starting line, so quite a stacked field. But I didn't really feel pressure, because my goal was to run my race. Okay. Of course, when you are in front, and then everybody says like, yeah, hey, you can get the medal, and I was like, yeah, but I didn't really expect a medal, and I didn't really believe into that medal until like the last 5K, when I knew that fourth place was far away. Okay. Or that not that far away, but far enough.
Far enough. Yeah. That if you held what you were doing, you were going to stay in medal position.
Yeah, exactly. But I never dared to believe that medal was actually going to happen. And in my head, I always told me, hey, top 10, that was my goal for like a good day. So I was like, okay, just keep going and try to stay in the top 10. And that worked out great in the end, I think.
How did it feel, or can you describe what was going through your head when you crossed the finish line? You were holding the German flag. There looked to me like a mix of just total celebration and also relief on your face.
Yes, it was indeed also relief, because I mean, it was not like the longest race, but in terms of intensity, it was quite intense. Also because of the competition of this race, and well, I suffered a bit in the last two downhills, and I was then just glad that it was over somehow. But obviously, I was so happy that I just could stay in that position, and that actually the medal got reality. And then, I mean, I just also had to be happy because the crowds, in the end, it was incredible. The cheering, it was really a happy moment, but also super surreal. To be that, just to be second place. I mean, nobody really expected that, I think.
Well, I hope you now have those expectations for yourself. You earned that achievement. I always hate to ask people the day after an ultra marathon what your next race is going to be, but I want to know, and thus I'm sure the people want to know. What else are you going to race in 2023?
Well, actually, I'm going to do a long distance triathlon in 2 weeks.
A long distance triathlon?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's see if that works out. But it's so much cycling, so I hope I should be fine, I think.
Do we mean Ironmanning or Ultramanning or?
Yeah, it's like Ironman distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in mid of July, I think I'm gonna do Eiger Ultra Trail again. I did it last year. I won there, so they want me back, obviously, to defend my title.
Yeah.
And I really love that race. It's close to where I live and where I train, and I just love that area. And then my big goal is actually UTMB, but I'm not sure yet if I am in because I'm only qualified for CCC.
Okay.
Maybe they can, shift me to UTMB, but
UTMB, we're looking at you.
well, let's see. If not, then I do TDS again, which I did last year. And I raced well there last year, but I had so many problems during the race, and I really want to do better. So if not UTMB, then TDS.
Either way is good.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you on your second place finish at the Trail World Championships 80K. It was awesome to see you race for the first time. It was awesome to see you, achieve second place.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a great race. I'm really happy.